time to start planning next year's cruises. So I'm going to be assessing my cruises from this past year and taking a look at all those cruises and kind of looking at like a pros and cons list of my cruises that I was on, just to see which cruises I want to take in the upcoming year. I'm looking at 2 cruise ships, the Mardi Gras and the Liberty, and I've made a pros and cons list of each one of those cruise ships, and I'm going to see, do I want to take both out of Port Canaveral this year or just one of them? So let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna get comfortable here. All right, so I did take both the Mardi Gras and the Liberty this past year several times, and I really enjoyed both cruise ships. So let me just say that up first. I really did enjoy both. It's that whole question whenever somebody says, I got good news and I've got bad news. Which do you want? And I always say, well, just give me the bad news. Let's just get it over with. So let's just go ahead and start with the cons. And I'm going to talk about the Mardi Gras. Now, the Mardi Gras is part of Carnival's XL class, and the Liberty is part of Carnival's Conquest class. So Mardi Gras is, since it is the XL class, it is a much larger ship. So as you see here, I'm basically kind of doing like a new ship versus an older ship, a big ship versus little ship. And Mardi Gras is the big new ship. And it is, it's got like close to 6,000, actually over 6,000 people, especially if you're counting in all the 2,000 crew members. So there's a lot of people on board, and it can get crowded. At times I did see a lot of crowds in different areas. Sometimes around the pool areas it can be pretty crowded. Now around the tides pool it didn't seem it was that crowded at times. Now one thing I noticed is the venues seem not only different, but to me they seem like they were a little bit smaller. When you first walk into the Mardi Gras, you will walk into the Grand Atrium, and it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful area. It's 3 stories. I mean, it's a gorgeous area. During the day, they've got the windows where you can look out into the sea, and at night they do a lot of shows there as well. The only thing that I didn't like about it was it didn't seem like enough seating area. So when they did have shows there at night, it was really crowded, and sometimes you'd have to go and sit and wait for a while before the show would even start, just so you could hope to get a seat. So I got to the point where I didn't do any of the shows. I think I only went to 1 or 2 of the shows, and that was just because I was tired of all the crowds and having to sit and wait for so long. I waited, I think one show one night was like 45 minutes. I sat there for 45 minutes before the show even started just so I could get a seat. So that was definitely a con for me. And another thing, like I said, the venue seemed a little bit smaller. For instance, we love going to the Punchliner Comedy Club. Anytime you're on Carnival, definitely I always recommend going to the Punchliner Comedy Club. But on Mardi Gras, you have to wait in line we waited in line for 45 minutes one night. So there is a long line to get into the Punchliner Comedy Club, and they close the doors because it fills up pretty fast. So when we got in there, it seemed like it was a lot smaller. So I'm not quite sure. That and the theater. The theater also seemed like it was a little bit smaller as well. So to me, it just felt like the Punchliner Comedy Club, the theater, the Grand Atrium, it just felt like you were constantly having to wait and stand in line to be able to get into any of these shows, because there wasn't enough seating for how many people there are on this ship. So while we were on the Mardi Gras, I actually talked to several people, and I asked them what they thought of the Mardi Gras and what they were and what they liked and didn't like. And every single person I talked to said the same thing that we didn't like about the Mardi Gras, and that was how big it is and the fact that it took away from the personalization. So there are like around 2,000 crew members and 6,000 people on board. So that is a lot of people, and you don't get a chance to meet some of the other passengers and kind of make friends on the ship. Plus, you also don't get a chance to really have that bond and kind of get to know the crew members. So that was a huge lacking point there for not only myself and my husband, but we noticed that it was for other passengers as well. They stated the same thing. Well, they loved the ship. It was gorgeous. As soon as I walked into the Mardi Gras, I felt like I was stepping into first class. It was, I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous on this ship, but it's just so big that you don't get a chance to know anybody on the ship, and you lose that personalization of really getting a chance to make that bond with the crew members and other passengers as well. Now going over to Liberty, which is the Conquest class, taking a look at that ship, some of the cons there, one of them was the internet for me. Total waste of money. Don't waste your money on getting the internet. This is definitely my opinion, and others as well. I always get the premium internet package on any cruise ship I'm on. If you've watched any of my vlogs, you know that I'm always working when I'm on the cruise ship, and I wasn't able to get internet on the cruise ship. It was really awful. So you can walk by there. So it was oh, well, hello there. You gonna come sit down with me? All right. I don't even know where I was. The internet wasn't that great. So that was definitely a con for me on the Liberty. Another thing on the Liberty was the dining options. Now, it is a smaller ship, so there's less people, but you're also getting less dining options. You don't have some of the extra dining options that you have on the Mardi Gras, and that was definitely a con for us, especially after we had gone to the Mardi Gras after being on the Liberty. So we love food, and when you have that lack of options there, that was definitely a little bit of a con for us. Now, I know it is a approximation of around 2,900 people on the Liberty, but even with it being less people, and you still have Guy's Burgers and Blue Iguana on the Liberty like you do on the Mardi Gras, but I noticed that the lines were incredibly long on trying to get to Guy's Burgers or Blue Iguana, and sometimes even Mongolian Walk. I didn't even get a chance to go and eat any of the Mongolian Walk. I've heard such good things about it, thought it was, I really wanted to go and try it. I've heard a lot of people compliment it. I didn't get a chance to eat any of it because every single time I would go, the line was ridiculously long, and I am impatient when I'm hungry. I just want to hurry up and find the shortest line so I can get something to eat. And it was never the Mongolian Walk. And I really didn't ever eat at Guy's Burgers either because the line was always incredibly long there as well. So that was definitely a little bit of a con there. Now, another con, and it's not really as much of a con for me as it might be for other people, is I did notice that there is a lack of entertainment options on the Liberty. So they only have so many options. And another thing that was a little bit of a con, I mean, it's to be expected. You already know about it up front, and that is the fact that Liberty is only 3 and 4 day cruises. So for me, I kind of feel like at times that that's a waste of cruising. I like to be on at least a 7-day cruise, for me to really kind of feel like it's worth it. Even though I'm only paying taxes and gratuities. So I just prefer not to do a 3 and 4 day cruise. And what I did when we were on the Liberty is I did those back-to-back cruises. So I did like 3 or 4 back-to-back 3 and 4 day cruises. So that way it felt like I was on there longer, and that way I wasn't having to get off after 3 days. So I did turn that con into a little bit of a pro there for myself. But the con there with 3 and 4 day cruises is the vibe that you get on some of those cruise ships. With the Carnival Liberty, it's kind of a party vibe. It's a party ship basically, and that is basically what you're getting here when you're on the Carnival Liberty. Now, we also went during off seasons, during spring break time or summertime when kids are out of school. So if I book the Liberty this year, it will probably definitely be when school is mostly in session, especially for here in Florida. Now, if you have kids, that is kind of hard to do. So I definitely understand that. It was harder for us when our children were younger. So let's look at some positives. Mardi Gras. Already mentioned that the Mardi Gras was absolutely gorgeous. It was a beautiful ship. And you could probably already assume by my con on the Liberty with the dining options that dining options is definitely a positive for us when we were on the Mardi Gras. They had so many different dining options available. Because it's a bigger ship, you're going to get more dining options, and that is definitely something the bigger ships have over any of the little ships, is all the different dining options that you have. And a couple of our favorites was Rudy Sea Grill. We love seafood. And one that we had to keep going back to as much as we possibly could was Chabang. And if you have not tried out Chabang, I definitely highly recommend it. It is a Chinese Mexican restaurant, and it's part of the dining option, so it's not an upcharge. So that's another plus right there. You're not Rudy Sea Grill is an upcharge, but Chabang is part of your dining option. So that was great. And it was amazing food. Usually I'm pretty picky when it comes to the food. So some of the dining options, the free dining options, even in the dining room, to me still taste like buffet food. Well, in Chabang, it doesn't taste like buffet food. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. So both my husband and I loved it, and we felt like we were in a restaurant. So another pro on the Mardi Gras, while the con was on the Liberty, lack of entertainment options, there is more entertainment options on the Mardi Gras. So the Mardi Gras offers not only more shows, a lot more shows, but they offer the ultimate playground, a really nice mini golf area that we really enjoy playing, and definitely check out the roller coaster if you are on the Mardi Gras. So there are definitely some entertainment options to keep you occupied during the day and at night on the Mardi Gras. Now, another thing I loved on the Mardi Gras were the rooms. This is a brand new ship, so they have updated rooms, updated fixtures. The bathroom is beautiful looking after being in the bathroom on the Liberty. It looks like a hospital bathroom to me on the Liberty, so it gives you more of that hotel vibe. It's really pretty and nice and updated, so I do love the rooms. But one of my favorite things that they have added in the rooms is extra outlets. So I love that. You get extra outlets on the desk and you get USB ports next to your bed. But definitely bring this with you if you're on the Mardi Gras, the Liberty, any ship, because you never know when you might need some extra outlets or USB ports. And it's a power strip, so they won't confiscate it from you because you can't bring surge protectors. So definitely make sure that it is a power strip and it's a cruise approved power strip. And I do have the link for this one in the description below. Another positive was the internet. While the internet was definitely a con and I said a waste of money on the Liberty, it was really a positive for me on the Mardi Gras. I was actually on the Mardi Gras right after the Liberty, and I was really surprised. I was hopeful it was going to be better since it was a newer ship, and it definitely was. It was a lot better. I got to take Zoom calls while I was on the Mardi Gras, and so the premium internet package while we were there, not a waste of money, definitely not. So I was definitely pleased with the internet on the Mardi Gras. And a definite favorite for us on the Mardi Gras was the casino. Hands down, the casino is gorgeous. The casino is really nice and spacious. On the Liberty, we enjoyed the closeness of getting to know everybody on the Liberty with the crew members over there, but you just can't beat how spacious and open it is on the Mardi Gras. It is a beautiful casino area. I just absolutely love the bar area and the beautiful open area in the casino. All right, so some pros for the Liberty. Now, I know it sounds like, well, what kind of pros could there possibly be for the Liberty after you just named those cons and then all those pros for the Mardi Gras? Well, I do have some pros for the Liberty, and really one of the number one pro was the fact that it's smaller. We got to know so many crew members. There's half the amount of crew members on the Liberty. Even on a 3 and 4 day cruise, you definitely will get to know everybody a little bit better. So that was definitely a positive for us as well. Now, I will say the steakhouse on the Liberty versus the steakhouse on the Mardi Gras, phenomenal. we loved the Diamond Steakhouse on the Liberty. Now, it could have just been the night that we chose to eat at the steakhouse on the Mardi Gras. We only ate there once, so it doesn't, maybe that was just a fluke. But for us, we just really enjoyed the steakhouse when we were on the Liberty. It was really good food, great service. No complaints there at all. And also another pro that we really liked, we love going to the Punchliner Comedy Club. The comedy club is so much fun, and Carnival has some great comedians they bring on board. So definitely, if you're on a Carnival cruise, check that out. Liberty. So it was really nice that you could just walk up and you could go into the comedy club. You could walk into the comedy club like 5-10 minutes after it started. I wouldn't recommend it. You'll get picked on. But you could do it if you wanted to, because it wasn't always full. And it felt like you could do that in the theater. It seemed like the theater was a lot bigger. So those are my pros and cons of the Mardi Gras and the Liberty. Now, as it seems, it looks like I'm leaning more towards the Mardi Gras. My personal reasons, I like food, I like internet, and I like the casino. So all of those were in my pros on the Mardi Gras. But I have one more thing that I need to look at on which ship I want, and that is itinerary. So while the Liberty is a 3 and 4 day cruise, they will go to places like Bimini. And then Mardi Gras is a 7-day plus cruise, and we'll go to places like Cozumel, Costa Maya, Amber Cove, Nassau, but they don't go to Bimini. So I have been to Bimini a few times and really want to go back again this year. And I'm just kind of leaning toward, I don't know, I really wish that Mardi Gras offered a Bimini trip. If they offered a Bimini trip, I probably wouldn't go on Liberty at all anymore. So that's kind of the pickle that I'm in right now. I am looking at possibly doing a 1-day cruise or 1-day trip to Bimini, Bahamas, coming out of Fort Lauderdale and taking a ferry down to Bimini. I believe Bimini is my biggest hang up right now of which cruise ship I want to take. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. What would you do? Which ship would you choose? Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helped and gave you some ideas of which cruises that you want to take in this upcoming year. Please give me a thumbs up or just one. I would greatly appreciate it. It really helps so much. And thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.